All right, so I think this is the only time that we have the 3 games in a week, and it reminds me of when we used to do the 5-game cluster. And it's been difficult to keep our guys to learn from the last game and then move on to the next game. So we tried to do as much as we could yesterday to what could we learn from the Minnesota game that was relative to what we were going to see in Indiana, or just for our overall season. And so we got a lot of that done. We have played Indiana once, and we've really played well. We're going to have to do that again. It's a tremendous home court atmosphere in Bloomington. It's one of the ones that is one of the louder arenas. And last time when we played at Wisconsin, and we didn't play as well as we could once the road atmosphere kicked in. So it's really important that we can handle that, because this is a difficult venue, and they have a very good team, very good coaching staff, great plan. Really got some they got a lot of good players. They got 2 really exceptional players that will be hard to stop. So, but we'll just do the best we can today to get prepared, and then hopefully we can go in there at Friday night. I think it's my first Friday night game since I'm probably a Division II coach. So a Friday night game of getting going in and playing on national TV.
Teo?
John, Jordan struggled a little bit from 3 the last few games, season low 3 points on Tuesday. How do you get him going again against Indiana?
Well, we got to get him open, and he's got to get open. Those 2 things. When you're not open, you can't shoot. And so it's really hard to get open when when you're a role player and you're in your first year here, your role player you can get open a little bit. Or if you're unmarked man coming in, you can get open a little bit. It's really hard to get a guy open if they just won't leave him. And so that's it. So we try to run some stuff the best we can to get him open, and then he's got to do a really better job of running in the fast break. That's an area that he's got to really work at. That he doesn't run the way he can run, and that's another way for him to get open.
Andrew?
Coach, is it a fine line between, you always want to move on to the next game,
yeah,
1 game at a time, and then also, have the guys enjoy and then sort of celebrate, I guess, a win? It seemed like maybe after the last one there was...
No, yeah, I was not as happy as I probably should have been, just because of, I think as a coach you expect too much. You expect them to immediately kick in what they learned in the Wisconsin game, and when I saw some of the similar things that we had pointed out, right, that was, and they don't lead to winning, and they almost led to a loss. And so it's like sometimes you just have to you gotta be ready to move on. You realize I'm human, they're human, and we should have enjoyed that win better. But the way, and I thought we got really good shots. We just missed layups and missed foul shots at the end. But preceding that, we really made some plays that, and our energy wasn't what it needed to be to win that game.
And then, I can see that from coaches, but with players, is this group unique in that, typically I would imagine you have to kind of calm them down,
yeah,
bring them up. Was this group the opposite? You have to get them to enjoy.
I think they were very happy that we ended up getting away with the win. But I think they also, there's this whole idea that we dodged a bullet too. We dodged a bullet, and the bullet was fired, and it was very close to us. And I think that leads to a sort of a pensive, cautionary type of attitude that, wow, that did really happen. And not that Minnesota, we're not that much better team. We're ahead by 10 or 13 late in the game. I don't think two people are happy with 2 or 3 misses, and you're ahead by double digits, and you have to survive to win that one. I don't think there's too many people walking off the court happy on the winning team.
With your team having played a couple of sluggish games lately, and Indiana, coming off a 5-game losing streak, how do you keep up the motivation for your team when you're going on the road?
Well, I think that our thing is all about improvement, and Indiana is Indiana. I think we might have won down there 2 times in 12 years, so it's really hard to win there, and they're a good team. They were nationally ranked last week, so there's not like, okay, we're going to go in and play a poor team. This is a really good team, and we're a really good team, and you just move on and get ready for the next game.
James?
John, I think 4 of the last 5 games you guys have shot under 20% from 3.
Yeah.
I guess how much of this is just a rough pitch, and I guess when does it maybe turn to a legitimate weakness?
Yeah, I got to look at it as good news that we won the games, and that And we didn't get a whole lot of good looks, but we did get some really good looks the other day, and we didn't make them. But I'm not, it wasn't, sometimes there were a few shots we take that would take your percent. So all you need is 4 bad shots, and the percentage goes from 40 to 30. And that seems to be where we were a little bit, and then we had some really good shots that we didn't make. So, but I'm not concerned about it. If I start seeing it in practice, it'll be concerned. But we played, Wisconsin doesn't give you a 3, right? Northwestern does not give you a 3, right? And remember, we got them from Xavier and Johnny, and they gave those guys 3s, right? And the other night we had them and we didn't make them.
When you talk about last season, maybe adjusting to what guys do well on offense. I mean,
Yeah.
Are you still doing that at this point?
We're in the middle of it right now. We're in the middle of it right now, just trying to evolve what we have on our team. What has John Teskey given us that he wasn't giving us before, right? What has Xavier been doing that he wasn't doing earlier in the year, and we continue to evolve it. How are people guarding Jordan Poole? And that's the constant thing. We're not always going to be right, but it's on our mind all the time.
Lapped with TD with Sky.
How much do you think going through that adversity the last 2 games will help you guys going forward?
I hope so. I hope so. And that's the thing. The loss we hope would help us more, but somehow that win has to help us as well. And I think the kids understand that after watch the film again. And what we have to understand is that the schedules change, so the degree of error, right, changes so much, right? That there were some games we could have made, 10 really blatant mistakes and still won by 10. You do that right now, and you can't win by 10 anymore. You can't win. So those are the type of things that I think we have to learn. And it's just one possession sometimes that can change a game. And we're going to continue to educate them, and they're going to continue to educate us on what's the best way for us to have them approach it. Go ahead.
Where do you feel Iggy is right now?
He's in the gym. He's right over there shooting right now.
With his
He just
game
made a nice
overall.
3. He's like a typical freshman. He's playing basketball, and he's out there. He's trying to figure a lot of things out. He did a tremendous job on Murphy the other day. I think everybody's got to realize with forwards that are shooters, that are battling in the post at the other end, and then have to come down and shoot an open 3. It's not so easy. So it would be like if I took you out and ran your sprints, and we did push-ups in between every sprint. You wouldn't be such a good sprinter. And that's what's happening down at the other end, and he didn't give in one bit.
Brendan?
You mentioned the other night that you guys were getting out and running when transition opportunities arose.
Yep.
Can you pinpoint why there's not that get out and go?
I wish I could bottle it up and figure it out. But we actually charted, speed runs, right? A couple guys on our team that you think Alita twice ran the floor really hard. They think they're running. What I love is that we've had plays where the guy starts running where he thinks he can get a dunk. Right at the end, oh man, and then he takes it off. It's the first 3 steps. And it's something we emphasized yesterday. We're starting to practice with it today. It's something that you think they'll just sort of pick up. And it's hard for coaches to understand this, because if you really run hard, a lot of times you won't get the ball, but somebody else will get open. You'll create for others. But a lot of times you get the ball, and that's where the highlights are made. But we got guys putting their hand up at half court, looking for the ball, and starting to slow down, looking for a 3. And we're probably running too much for 3s and not to basket. We got to push it more. We got to outlet more. We got to get the ball in the middle more. We're not doing that enough.
Would you say this is a focal point right now?
Very much so. Because when our defense is so good, we got to take advantage of that. If we're stopping people 40% of the time, we're getting great defensive rebounding numbers. We don't have to worry about any offense. We don't have to worry how they're parting the ball screen, how they're switching, if we can just beat them in transition. So it's a big focus. I hope we can see it as we go forward here, because it's the easiest way for people to score. But that first 3 steps, 4 steps to get over half court, that speed zone we call it, we're not utilizing it the way we're going to have to do it.
Go ahead, Nick.
And I wonder, is this, I don't want to say it's an annual thing, but even good teams, a lot of good teams go through maybe something in January where they have to, is that what this is for you? Is this just?
Yeah, I think it happens to most teams sometime during the year. And like I said, if we just came off I'm not going to overdo it, we just came off the Northwestern game where we played really well. And there's only been 2 games since that, I believe. And both of them, we didn't play well, but we were 1-1. So but I do think you go through these periods where it's not the right matchup, right? Somebody has a slight injury, something, you know, you're on the road in an environment and you're not comfortable, that all of a sudden you look like a shell of who you can be. And it just happens. And then you got to get yourself out of it. I mean, I can remember times over my career that's all you needed was to get a W, or one guy make one shot and the whole season could change. When you get into these things, and it's the coach's job to get them out of it when we lose the confidence like our shooting percentages right now. Somebody's got to make 2 in a row. So somebody's got to make that big play, dive on the floor and get the ball and get everybody going. So right now that's not happening.
And with that, I mean, it can be frustrating, of course, if you're not playing exactly how you want to. How beneficial are these times like this? How beneficial are they for the growth of the team?
Oh, I hope, as long as we're learning from it. We got to look at it from an educational standpoint. Are we learning from it, or is it something that's just happening? And we'll say, why is it happening, and what can we do about it? What are the solutions are really important now, and embrace the solution. And some of it might just be running and all of a sudden change. It might be that simple. Or it might just be saying, okay, we've been trying this guy, doing this all year long. It ain't working. Let's save it for practice right now. And so those are the all things that it could be to the big picture where the coach has got to make adjustments, to the kid just got to make an adjustment, set a better screen. It could be that simple.
Zach?
With Jordan and Iggy, how are they handling maybe teams? Because I imagine it might be circling them sooner on the scouting report than they were a few months ago.
Yeah.
How are they handling maybe being the center of attention more?
I think it's very difficult, and I don't think anybody will handle it well if all of a sudden what was once very easy for them becomes very difficult. It gets frustrating for them, and that's one of the big things as a coaching staff we have to get them. All right, this is what happens to good players. And of course, they all dream they're going to play in the NBA. All right, well, guess what's going to happen in the NBA? You're going to be guarding LeBron, or LeBron's going to be guarding you. Do you think this is going to get easier? So embrace it, grow from it, and get better. And that's the only way we can approach these things.
Anybody have anything else? All right, Coach.
All right, thanks.